Humblehus here. Thank you for joining me. We'll be making this beautiful headband today. It's perfect for the summer. Let me tell you what you need. 2 different colors of yarn, a crochet hook. This is a 2.75 millimeter one, yarn needle, different ones, as long as it has a big eye, scissors, and stitch markers. If you don't have any, simply use a paper clip. This is a number 1 super fine, and the recommended hook size is 3.5 millimeters. But like I said, I'll be using a different hook. Now, I'm not going to be using this yarn to show you how it's done because it's so small that it's hard to see. So I'm going to go ahead and use this thicker one, a different hook, so that you can actually see how to do the flower. So we're going to start with the flower, and like I said, this is just for demonstration purpose. You'll be using the other yarn, the thin one. First, you make a slip knot, make a little loop, insert your hook, then pull this yarn through the middle, hold on to both ends, tighten it. Now you need to chain 7. So if you don't know, you just yarn over, twist, and pull through. Yarn over, twist, and pull through. Okay, and do that 7 times. So this is 1, 2. Let me switch out this hook because it is a little big. Okay, I just switched it to a smaller one. Let's join the 2 ends with a slip stitch. This first chain, you're simply going to go into that 1 loop and yarn over, pull up a loop, and that same loop you're going to pull it through the loop that was on your hook. Okay, that was your slip stitch. Now you're going to chain 1, yarn over, pull it through that loop. And now into this ring that we made, we will do 16 single crochets. So you're simply going to insert your hook into the middle, yarn over, pull up a loop through that ring. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. So that's your first single crochet. Now again, into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. So that's 2. But before you keep going, in that first one that you made, we will put a stitch marker so that we know where the last one is. So just keep going until you have 16 of these. There are your 16 single crochets. Now into this first single crochet that we made, that is where we're going to join these two stitches. So you insert your hook. You can take off the stitch marker or you can leave it on. I'm going to leave it on. Then you yarn over, you pull through, and then you pull through that loop again. So that's the slip stitch. Now you're going to chain 1, and into the same stitch, you're going to do 1 single crochet. Into this first single crochet, I am also going to put a stitch marker. Now I will take off the previous one. I'm going to chain 5. We're going to skip the next stitch. So remember, this is that first one, so we're going to skip this one, and into the next one, we will insert our hook through both loops. See those 2 loops? Then yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and that's a single crochet. Now we're going to chain 5 again, skip this stitch right there, and go into that next one with a single crochet. Okay, so through both loops and do your single crochet. You're going to repeat that until you get to the end of this circle, and you should have 8 of these petals. Once you're on your 8th petal, so I'm about to close it off, remember you would skip this one right here, but you're not going to go in here. Instead, you're going to go into that first single crochet, which is why it's nice when you put a stitch marker. That way you know exactly where you need to go. You insert your hook, and we do a slip stitch. Pull through and pull through that loop on your hook. Alright, so now for round number 3, you're going to be working into this space. You insert your hook, you're going to do a slip stitch first, and by the way, you can take this off. Insert your hook and do a slip stitch into that ring. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to do 1 single crochet into the ring as well. You need to do 5 half double crochets into this ring. The way you do those is you yarn over first, you insert your hook into the space, you yarn over again, pull up a loop, you will have 3 loops on your hook, you yarn over and pull through all 3. That's your first one. You need 5 of those. Like that. And then the last one is going to be another single crochet. So simply go into the ring, into that space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There you have that. Now we're going to go into the next space. This time we're not going to do a slip stitch or a chain 1. We're simply going to start with a single crochet into that space. So that's 1. And then the next 5 are going to be 5 half double crochets. There you have them. And the last one is 1 single crochet. You're going to repeat that into every petal until you come to this one. Okay, when you're done with all of those, we need to join the 2 sides. And before you join, just want to let you know, this is where it's going to get a bit confusing because we're going to work into this middle part, okay, once we've joined them. So this was your single crochet from round 2. Just wanted to give you a little visual. But first, join these 2 sides by doing a slip stitch into the first single crochet from when you started, okay? So if you needed to count back, so this was the single crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5 half double crochets, and this was the first single crochet. And that's how, if you get confused, just count back and that will help you. You insert your hook and do a slip stitch. Now chain 1, and we're going to work on the back of this. So this middle part right there, I hope you can see it. This is where we need to insert our hook and do a single crochet. And that first one is a little bit hard, but I'm sure you can do it. Now we're going to chain 6. There you have 6 chains. Now go into that next side of the petal, and again into that middle part where we had that first single crochet. This is where we need to insert our hook and do another single crochet. And this is the reason why I wanted to show it to you on a bigger yarn, because on the small one it's very hard to show. So again, chain 6, then you go to that other side again, and that middle part. The way you can kind of tell is you have this one loose string that leads to these. So do you see that? So you're going to insert through here and then come back, insert through there and then come back through that part and do a single crochet. And just repeat these steps until you're at the other side. Chain 6, 1 single crochet. Chain 6, 1 single crochet. When you're done with all of these, we need to do a slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made, which is this one right here. Insert your hook through both loops, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop that's on your hook. Now chain 1, and into this space we're going to do 1 single crochet, 6 half double crochets, 1 single crochet. Basically we are adding 1 stitch Don't forget to yarn over on those half double crochets. Now go into that next space and do the same thing all the way until you're back over here. So we're done with those, and it's starting to look very good. Now we need to do a slip stitch again to the first single crochet. You're going to insert your hook and do a slip stitch, chain 1, and now we turn the flower. We need to work into the single crochet from round number 4. This was that first one that we did. And here again, you have to look for that long, kind of like that single thread that you have, and find that space in between, kind of pull it apart, do your single crochet. And I know it all looks the same. Sorry, I need to put this yarn in behind my hook. Insert in there, go through, and do a single crochet. Now chain 7, and we're going to go to this other side of that petal. So there was your first one that you did, and then again, maybe it'll be easier to see here. Find that thread where it's just one, you'll be able to tell, and there's a space in between where you insert your hook. Let me get it up close, and then you come back through. Let me show you on this side. Not going through the front at all. It's just like an in-between space. It's like right between these. Okay, did the single crochet, and now we chain 7 again. And let me tell you, if you happen to go into a different spot, it's okay. Nothing will happen. The flower might just be a little bit wider or looser, but it's fine. Like, do not break your head over this. Repeat those until you get to the end, and then we'll be done with round number 6. We're done with this round, and now we need to join the 2 ends again. Into that first single crochet, we're going to do a slip stitch, chain 1, and into the space we're going to do the same as we did at the bottom. 1 single crochet, 7 half double crochets, so we add 1, and then 1 single crochet into each space all the way around. And this will be our last row, and we'll be done with the flower. Now you join with that first single crochet, do a slip stitch, and cut off the yarn. Pull this yarn through that loop. Done with this flower. So basically this is this same flower, but you can see obviously with the thin yarn how much smaller it's going to be. Next we'll do the square around the flower, and I'll also show it to you on this larger one so that it's easier to see. Turn the flower around. This is the part where we started or ended, either way. Where this circle is, where the ring is, you have these 2 single crochets. Insert your hook into that second one, and you're going to pull this yarn through. Now you will chain 6. There's your chain of 6. So this is basically the first petal. We skip the second petal, and then on the third petal we are going to do 3 double crochets into the ring. Yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, then come back out in the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through those 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Again, yarn over into the ring, through the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. There you have 2, then 1 more, there's your 3 double crochets. Now chain 3, skip the next petal, and then do the 3 double crochets again. So into the ring, and we'll repeat this all the way around, where you skip 1 petal, and then into the next one you do the 3 double crochets, chain 3, so skip, and then the next one. Once you're at your last petal, you will only do 2 double crochets into that ring. To join these 2 into the 3rd chain, we will do a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, that that chain of 6 that we did at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, into that chain, you make a slip stitch. That's what it should look like. Now, in order to get closer to the middle, we need to do 2 slip stitch, so 1 into each of the next chains. Do a slip stitch here, and then do another slip stitch here. That. Now we chain 3, and we are going to do 2 double crochets into this space. Yarn over. Into the next 3 stitches, we are going to work behind the post. So this is 1 post, this is 1 post, this is 1 post. We're going to do a double crochet, you yarn over, and then behind the stitch, you go through the front, around it, pull the yarn through, all the way through, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Again, yarn over, then through the back, in front of the post, around the post, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And then the last one, into this space we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, again 3 double crochets into that space. Now we will do the same thing again, where we do a double crochet behind the post. And repeat that. And once more. Now 3 double crochets into this space, and then chain 3 and 3 double crochets into the same space again, and then you repeat those 3 around the post, okay, until you come back to this side. When you've almost come to the end of this, after those 3 that you did around the post, you're going to do 3 double crochets into that space, that next space, like so, and then chain 3. And into the top of that chain 3 that we did at the beginning, so 1, 2, 3, you will insert your hook and do a slip stitch. Turn your work, and we're going to slip stitch back, okay, so into these 3 spaces, so 1, 2, and 3. Now turn it around again and chain 6. And the only reason we do this is because we want to be over here at the beginning, okay? Now into the same corner, we're going to do 3 double crochets, like that. Okay, now here's where we're going to change it up. Remember how the previous row we went behind the post? Well, this time the first 3 posts we're going to go through the front. What that means is you're going to yarn over and So not through the back, but through the front. You're just going to go around it and back out and simply do a double crochet. Like that. Again, yarn over, through the front, around it, and do a double crochet. That's 2, and then this last one. Okay, then the next 3, those were the ones that we did behind, and that's what we're going to do here as well. So you yarn over, go behind your work, next to the post, over it, and through. And do a double crochet. Again, yarn over, behind your work, then next to the post, around it, and do a double crochet. One more. All right. Now the next 3 we're going to do in front. So yarn over, go through the front, into this space, 3 double crochets, and then we're going to chain 3 and do 3 double crochets again into this same space. Then repeat the same steps as we did on over here into the next stitches. You're going to start with the front, and with the front for the first 3 stitches, and then the back the next 3 stitches, the front the next 3 stitches, and then 3 double crochets into the stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochets into this space as well until you get back over here. We're almost at the end of this row, and into this last space we will do 2 double crochets, and we will join on the 3rd chain from that chain of 6 that you made with a slip stitch. Now do another slip stitch into the next chain, and another one into the next chain, and now we chain 3. We're going to do 2 double crochets into this space. You're going to do the same thing for this row, where these are the ones that you go through the front. I'm sorry, these are the ones that you go through the back, then here through the front, through the back, through the front, through the back. Yarn over, through the back of your work, around each of the next 3 posts. And then the next 3 you go through the front with double crochets. You just follow the pattern. 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. Now repeat this on all sides. When you're done with the last 3 posts, you double crochet 3 into that space, and then chain 3 and do a slip stitch into the top of that 3rd chain, like so. Now we can cut off this yarn, pull it through. Now do 3 of these, so total, and then we'll join these 3. Now for the border, I'm going to switch back to the smaller square. Now it's just pretty simple. We're going to do a border all around, and you can go into any corner that you like. So we can start, for example, here where we ended. You will simply insert your hook into that corner and take the other yarn, slip through, chain 1, and into that same stitch do a single crochet, and then into the next one as well. Now you start with these 3, So those 3, you also want to do single crochets, that, but now you're going to chain 9. And you're going to skip all of these until you get to the last 3 double crochets that you did. So you want to insert your hook and do a single crochet into each one of those. And then keep going with that corner. So 1, 2 single crochets. But into this corner one, you're going to do 2 single crochets into the same stitch so that you can round the corner, and keep going with the next stitch. Do a single crochet and do the next 3 stitches, and again chain 9. Skip all of this and continue with these 3 stitches. Again, at each corner you're going to do 2 single crochets into that corner stitch, into the same stitch, and then repeat the same steps until you're back at this corner. When you've gone all the way around, you're back at the corner. You're going to do a slip stitch with that first single crochet that you made. Chain 1, insert your hook into that same stitch and do a single crochet, and then continue to do 1 single crochet into every single stitch that you have all the way around. Don't forget in the corner stitches to make 2 single crochets into that same stitch. When you've come to the end of this round, at the corner you will slip stitch with that first single crochet that you had done, then chain 1 and insert your hook and do a single crochet into that same stitch. We have 3 flowers. 2 that are going to be on the side, we're going to add this border to it on 2 of the flowers. So that's what we're going to do next. We did the single crochet in here into that same stitch, and now we're going to continue and do single crochets along this side. Count this as your first single crochet, the one we just did, and then add 16 more single crochets for a total of 17 single crochets. Now here's number 17. You're going to turn your work, chain 1, and into that same stitch do a single crochet. That's your first one. Then go and do 17 in total on your way back. Now turn your work, chain 1 again. This time we're going to do decreases right from the beginning. So 1 decrease in the beginning and 1 decrease over here at the end. What you do is you insert your hook into that same stitch and start the single crochet, but don't finish it off. Then go into the next stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you will have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's your first decrease. Then into the next 13 stitches you will just do single crochets. You have 2 stitches left, and that's where we will do the next decrease. So you insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then you go into that last stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now turn your work, chain 1, and insert your hook into that same stitch and do a single crochet. Go all the way back. You should have a total of 15 single crochets on this row. You did the 15 single crochets, you turn your work again, chain 1, insert your hook into that same stitch, and we will do a decrease again. Turn your work, chain 1, insert your hook into the same stitch, and you should have 13 single crochets going back. So the way you're going to do this is after this row, you will turn your work and you will again do one decrease on each side, and then turn your work again, go back with only single crochets. So that means that you will have a total of 11 single crochets, and then you turn your work and do a decrease on each side again, turn your work, go back, you will have 9 single crochets until you have a total of 3 single crochets, which will look like this. When you have those 3 single crochets, you just need to do several rows of those until you have a long enough band to go around the child's head. Here I'm at the end of this last row. I ended up doing 60 of these 3 single crochets. So at the end, simply cut off the yarn and pull this through that last loop, and in the end you will have to thread this yarn through this little band. Now we have the 3 parts to the headband, and all you have to do now is join all 3 parts. Take a long piece of the green colored yarn, take your yarn needle, and then sew this side together. Just simply go into every stitch, that, and then again on this side, line them up and go into every stitch. There, we have finished this lovely headband, and I know it will look beautiful on your child or whomever you're making this for. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to get notified of the newest videos. I try to post every week. Follow me on Instagram at Humblehus. Tag me and share your projects with me. I would love to see your creations. See you next time. This is Humblehus. Bye.